Right, so for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a situation where a user has posted quite a few videos at this point calling out an influencer after paying them to show up at an event, and they didn't do it. And not only are they saying that they didn't show up to the event, apparently they were paid to show up at the event and haven't returned the money. So there's a couple of people you need to be aware of here. The first one being Jordan Jane. So this is the person who's actually accusing the influencer of no showing the event and keeping the money. And the influencer in question is a user called It's Really Crystal. So we're going to start with a few videos that Jordan uploaded. At the beginning, she actually doesn't even name Crystal. And then once I get to the third video, I believe, that's when she kind of starts naming who this is. She does kind of say in these first couple of videos that she doesn't want to mention her name yet in case she sees his videos and actually rectifies the situation. And as you can probably guess, since I just told you that she ends up naming the influencer, the situation doesn't really get rectified. And in fact, after these videos, we do actually have a response from Crystal, so we'll get to that.
Story time of when I booked an influencer to come to my event. They never showed up and they also kept the deposit. I've been waiting to tell this story, y'all, because it was just so much going on with this story. So let's get into it. So just a little background of what I do. So I'm a content creator and I also host like content events. I bring influencers or content creators to my town where I host my events and pretty much just share knowledge and share information of how they got to where they are.
Okay, so you get a bit of backstory here. These events with content creators, they show up and they tell people how they made it to be an influencer, I guess. Now, this is where we hear that Crystal was actually booked for this event and was paid $1,250. She was supposed to get an extra $1,250 after showing up to the event and doing the work. And this was actually booked back in February.
I booked this particular influencer to come to my event and I paid her a deposit of $1,200 and she never showed up. Nor did she return my deposit for not showing up. So this may be a couple parts, so just bear with me because it's a lot of information. It's a lot of things that kind of transpired. So I booked this influencer February 23rd, 2025. That is when I sent the deposit of $1,250. I'm going to insert the screenshot here. I'm going to still give this particular lady some time to respond to send my money back before I just expose who she is. So for that purposes, I'm going to scratch out her name. But if she don't say nothing, then I'm gonna tell y'all who she is if y'all haven't figured it out by now.
We then end up seeing some messages here where Jordan says, "Hey babe, question. I'm thinking about moving the event back from April 12th to April 19th possibly. It's not a solidified change yet. It's just something I'm thinking about. How do we feel about that? I wanted to get your thoughts first," to which Crystal says that's perfect. So she was basically showing here that Crystal still said that she was able to do this event even when the date changed. And you can see the date change happened on February 26th, or this when it was kind of first mentioned. So it's still quite a bit in advance at this point. Now at this point, Jordan goes on to explain numerous occasions where communication wasn't the best. Like for example, when Jordan says that she asked Crystal to make a promo video, and that was pretty difficult.
And also during this time, I had asked her to make like a promo video to pretty much promote the event, you know, so people know she's coming. She told me 2 weeks before the event she could start a video. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I was a little like about that because I just feel like 2 weeks is a little late and last minute to be finally making a video. But I'm like, okay, I'm just like, okay, like we can do 2 weeks. Come back for part 2 because this part is getting a little long.
Now in part 2, we hear a lot more problems with the communication, where Jordan goes on to explain that she was trying to get a makeup artist organized to do Crystal's makeup, and even that was difficult.
So throughout the time that I showed the last screenshot, I was just kind of like telling her like if she's gonna need makeup done, I can have somebody that can do her makeup for her in exchange for promo, and same for hair. So like I'm just pretty much trying to get her set up in advance so that when she comes, she don't really have to worry about anything. Like y'all can just do the exchange for promo and that can just be that. So she asked that I have somebody in mind. I sent her the girl that I wanted, you know, to do her makeup, and she was like, okay, cool. She could do my makeup. But the thing is, she was taking so long to respond. Like, I was trying to get everything set up and in place so that the makeup artist didn't have any other bookings at that time or anything like that. So I was trying to get her to respond quickly so I can make sure that everything on my end was taken care of for her.
We then see some messages here where Jordan is saying that Crystal just took a long time to reply, right? So she shows like pictures of what this makeup artist has done previously. I can also send you some other MUAs as well, or if you like hers, I'll go ahead and book her for you. These messages being on April 2nd, by the way. Then on April 10th, we can see a message saying, "Hey babe, can you make a promo video and get it back to me no later than tomorrow morning? We're about a week out." On April 14th, we see another message saying, "Hey girlie, I need the video ASAP. Also the makeup artist I sent, is that one good for you?" So Jordan's trying to get stuff sorted for the the event and not receiving a reply. Now, it is also important to note here that Jordan says there was a contract signed, so Crystal apparently signed a contract, and the stuff that Jordan is trying to get her to do, like a promo video, was listed in the contract. We don't see a contract or anything like that. This is just coming from Jordan's video. This is how she explained the story. And in fact, Jordan goes on to explain that Crystal didn't end up replying for 16 days, and by the time that she did respond, it was only a few days before the event.
So from when I sent her the makeup artist until when I sent that second message, she didn't respond until April 16th. So it was a whole 16 days from the time I asked her initially for makeup until the time that she responded. Mind y'all, the event is April 19th. Like, yeah.
But unfortunately for Jordan, it doesn't seem like it gets any better, even when we get to the event. Because apparently at this point, Crystal ends up asking like a few questions about the plan of what time she was supposed to get there. Jordan goes on to explain that it was in the contract, she should know this, but then finds out that Crystal apparently books a flight that makes her arrive after the time she was supposed to be at the event.
So April 18th, she texted me at 10:58 in the morning and said, "What time do you need me to be there?" Mind y'all, it's a contract, so she can see the time that she needs to be there and etc. Like, I'm confused. But I texted her back at 1:28 and said, "What time will you be in Peoria? You will need to be at the venue by 12:45. We'll be having brunch around that time. Your makeup appointment is at 10:30. And the makeup artist will travel to you. So, like, wherever you're going to be at, hotel, whatever, like, your makeup artist going to come to you, get your makeup done, you can come straight to the brunch." So she texted me back at 2:51 and said, "I land at 1:40. I'm flying from dropping my son off in Cali. Let me see if there's earlier options." Why would you be landing in Peoria at 1:40 and your show up time was 12:45? Like, why would you even do that?
So then we hear that Crystal ends up finding an earlier flight. Seems like all is going well. Obviously, it's a bit closer time because she's flying in on the day. And things can happen that can cause delays, right? And that's exactly what happened here, because Crystal needed to get 2 flights and her first flight was delayed, meaning she actually ended up missing her connecting flight.
So then she sent me a picture at 6:04 a.m. and said, "I made my flight, but they delayed it till 7 a.m. I'm basically on standby right now." I said, "Okay, so what's your new arrival time to be in Peoria?" She said, "Hey, I'm trying to figure it out now. My flight had to stop. The second flight took off already." So I'm like, "Okay, give me a second. I'm going to have my assistant call you so we can try to work something out." So at this point, she missed her flight, her second connecting flight.
And it basically gets to the point where Crystal's not going to be able to make it, right? In Crystal's response, she does go on to say that she would be able to get there for 3 o'clock. But the time she was supposed to be there, like the time slot where she was actually supposed to do something at this event, was at 1 o'clock. And Jordan later explains that they can't just like start switching up the schedule of the event. It's all in place, it's all organized. So Crystal's not going to be able to make the event. So obviously at this point, you would assume that Crystal probably has to give back the $1,250. But according to Jordan, Crystal not only doesn't want to give back the $1,250, she feels like she should also be paid the extra $1,250 that she was going to get if she showed up.
So her and my assistant is on the phone going back and forth about, what we can do. Crystal wanted me to give her other half. I paid that girl $1,250. She was expecting to get the other $1,250 for trying to show up. But you did not show up. And in the contract, it said if you're unable to make it, the deposit shall be refunded. She didn't give me anything. And she actually ghosted me. And I'm going to show y'all these messages of her ghosting me. I tried calling her. My sister tried calling her. It was just nothing. They start getting smart at the mouth, doing too much. And I'm like, you know what? I got to keep it professional because at the end of the day, I'm a professional person. And, I'm not even finna feed into this. But, yeah.
Yeah, so we did just hear Jordan say that she was going to show the messages. She doesn't actually end up showing the messages in this video. I couldn't find them on another video either, but she is saying that Crystal still hasn't given back the money, or at least I haven't found a video where she claims that Crystal has given back the money yet. Now, this is where we hear Crystal's response. Now, the issue is, it is on a live stream, so all I have are like clips from the live stream. I didn't see the actual live stream, so there could be more context here. It's important to mention that here. Oh, and also the live stream clips that I have seen have been uploaded from this account right here called Influencer X Clips. But from what I have seen, Crystal goes on to talk about how she ended up missing a flight.
When we get to Dallas, they tell me that the fucking flight that I was supposed to connect to done took off. I thought, when you have a connecting flight, bitch, if you know that I have to get on this flight, why would you leave with this fucking plane?
Yeah, I've got to say this bit is a bit confusing, right? Because I guess Crystal thinks that because her original flight was delayed, the other flight's not going to take off. That's what I'm gathering from that anyways. Which, of course, that isn't how that works, but I guess Crystal thought it was. Crystal then goes on to explain that the only flight that she was able to take would be one that would get her at the event for 3 o'clock. Obviously, she was supposed to be there at 1 o'clock, so it'd be too late.
I'm calling the people. I'm letting them know. Mind you, it's all of, we take off at 7. We make it there about 9. The flight took off at 8. So I call the people and I'm like, the flight took off. Ain't no more flights for real. And there is one flight, but I know I'm supposed to be there at 2, but this gets me there at 3. I said, how far estimated is the airport from the venue? They're like, oh, it's 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes. I said, oh, okay, that's cool. You don't know who you fucking with. Baby, I do makeup in 5 minutes. I could do my makeup before I get there. I got my flat irons in my bag. I could do my hair in this bathroom. I could make it there at 3. Do you know this bitch? Do you know this lady? Because it wasn't even her that was talking to me. It was her assistant. Do you know this lady tells me, oh, you can't come at 3 because we have somebody already here at 2 and she has to get on at 2?
Yeah, so obviously there's a bit of difference in details here, right? Because Crystal is saying that she was supposed to show up at 2 o'clock. In Jordan's video, she actually said that she was supposed to show up at 12:45. Well, that was just so she could get there a little bit earlier. She was actually supposed to be there for 1. So I'm not sure where the 2 o'clock comes from. Who knows? We haven't seen the contract, obviously, so we don't know for sure. But even if you bear in mind both stories, either way, Crystal wouldn't be able to get there for the time that she was scheduled for. Now, Crystal's argument here, it seems to be that she's kind of confused that why wouldn't she be able to show up at 3 o'clock if the event doesn't finish till 4?
Because we have somebody already here at 2 and she has to get on at 2. So you have somebody already there and you know I'm on the way. I have my baby. And you telling me I can't come at 3? The venue is over at 4. Oh, we have security. We have this. We have everything lined up for you. That sounds great. Do you want me to come or not? Oh, we could you could do a virtual class for us. All right, I'll do a virtual class. Mind you, it's early as fuck. It's all of 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, shit, what time you need me to be there, on 1?
Yeah, so we then hear about this like virtual class instead of actually like showing up and doing like a physical class or physical talk, whatever Crystal was supposed to do at the event. Crystal then goes on to say that if she did do the virtual class, she wouldn't get paid for it. So I don't blame her for not doing it if she wasn't going to get paid for it at all.
So I call back, I'm like, so there's nothing y'all could do? Like, y'all want me to do the virtual class? They stopped responding. First of all, they told me if I did the virtual class that I would have to pay them back. It's not even that I will be getting my I wouldn't even be getting half of the rest of my money back. I would have to pay them back. Bitch, you out your rabbit ass, man. I'm in this motherfucking airport with my baby at 5 in the morning, rushing to get to you in this small ass city. And you telling me that you want me to do a virtual class, and not only that, you want me to pay you back? Girl, bye. Fuck up out my face. You ain't getting shit.
So yeah, like I said, I don't blame Crystal for not doing the virtual class if she wasn't going to be getting paid, but also the fact that she didn't show up to the event at all should mean that she would pay the deposit back, you would assume, right? Especially if there's a contract in place. And from everything that I've seen here, unless I've missed something, in Jordan's videos, it seems like it still hasn't been paid back. Maybe it has been paid back since Jordan's last video on this topic, because this has been like a week and a half at this point. So maybe it has at this point. Hopefully it has. Now, Jordan has actually responded to Crystal's response. She basically says like, why would I change the whole scheduling of the event just because you were late?
Crystal, you really wanted me to change my whole event to accommodate you because you were late day of? Nobody told you to come to Peoria the day of. You know flights get delayed all the time. Why would you try to show up to an event? And the event is in the morning, by the way. Why would you try to show up day of? That was so stupid. And then you want me to accommodate you for being late. Everything is paid for. Time slots are already paid for. Venues are already paid for. I can't just day of be like, oh, okay, let me move everything around. Then you wanted me to cancel and reschedule. No. People bought tickets to come to this event. Why would I cancel everybody's tickets because you didn't want to show up?
Now, Jordan actually goes on to say that at first she only wanted half the money back from Crystal, half of the $1,250 deposit, and that obviously didn't happen either.
I didn't even want all my money back at first. I said, just send me half of the deposit I gave you back, which was $1,250. I said, just send me half of that, and we could just call it even. You didn't want to respond. You talking about I'm trying to hop on this little bandwagon because of what you got going on. Girl, I don't even know what you have going on. I don't know nothing about your situation that you got going on. I'm posting it now because now I came to the realization that, yeah, you're very unprofessional. And my mama, we need that. Fuck all that. We need that. Like, what?
Which I personally think seems fair, right? $1,250 was the deposit to show up at the event. Obviously, Crystal wasn't able to show up at the event. So Jordan ends up saying, just send me half it back because at least you made the effort to get the first flight, I guess. Now, obviously, a lot of this depends on the contract, which, again, we haven't seen. That is pretty important to say here. But Jordan does actually go on to say that she is looking into suing Crystal.
Us cool and calm and collective at first, until we brought up the fact that, we was going to sue. Then you wanted to, be calling the phone, trying to figure something out. Why would I give you the other half of your money and you're not even here? I want half of my money because you did not show up. That's what you fail to realize. I had to have security because you're a celebrity, influencer, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. Of course I have to have security. Duh. Like, why wouldn't I have security for you and your safety? You have to make it make sense at some point. And a makeup artist, yes, I had her come from St. Louis to do your makeup because she be snapping and she do her big one. And she came specifically for you to do your makeup. I brought Chicago Heidi to my last event, no problem. She stayed the entire time. She interacted with guests. She stayed, asked questions, took pictures, made videos with everybody. Chicago Heidi was literally perfect for the event. When Chicago Heidi came, she came the night before. She got her makeup done the next day. Everything was together when Chicago Heidi came. But when you come, you're making all these excuses about flights. That don't have nothing to do with me at the end of the day. Yes, things happen. I understand that you had your kid, but that don't have nothing to do with me. Like you said, you knew about this booking in February. You should have had this figured out a long time ago.
So yeah, that is the information we have at this point. Like I said, I haven't seen an update that says that Crystal paid the money back. She very well could have, right? I just haven't seen the update from Jordan's videos. Jordan does go on to say in one of her videos that she wants to sue Crystal, but she needs her address to actually serve her the papers. So I'm not sure if that actually ended up happening. But let me know in the comment section down below, what would you do in this situation? And also, what do you think should happen in this situation? Do you think Crystal should have sent back the deposit? Do you have any other opinions? Let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like on it, subscribe if you are new. Also, if you're interested in some other content, me and Emily have a channel where we play games, react to reality shows, stuff like that. So if you're interested in any of that, that's always linked in the description down below. And yeah, until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.